Stay tuned. We're back. Mike has Sheets gear on. If you're not from the eastern side of the United States and don't know what Sheets is, I apologize. And then we also have Brayden with us. Today is going to be a discussion that we have been waiting for a very long time. And it has been something that's been in pop culture's mind for the past, I'd say, like 2 or 3 weeks now. The chairs that have gone viral from Marvel. The chair reveal to reveal about half of the cast is at least what we're assuming from reports and such. That it's about half of the cast for Avengers Doomsday, which is currently scheduled to be coming out next summer, I believe, and production just started. So
this upcoming May.
Yeah, this upcoming May.
Well, no, sorry, next May.
Next May. So about a year with production just beginning. So we're gonna break down the, who was announced, who surprised us, who has surprised us that isn't even on the list, stuff like that. So who would like to give the list? I can give the list of the names, and then, or if whoever wants to, go ahead.
I was gonna say I had it written down. So
Please.
The whole thing was nobody really knew what was going on because the first name off the bat was Chris Hemsworth, immediately followed by Vanessa Kirby, and that's when everything kind of came together in people's minds. So to do it out of order for ease of access, the entire Fantastic Four was announced. So we do know that they're going to be brought in. It's going to be the same Fantastic Four from the upcoming July film. However that may be, we still don't know.
Yeah.
All of the Thunderbolts, except for Taskmaster, which everybody already assumes is going to die in this movie.
If she's not dead in the beginning 10 minutes of this movie, I'll be shocked.
Everyone just assumes she's going to die in Thunderbolts anyway. But Lewis Pullman was announced, so I'm assuming that the good guys win in Thunderbolts and make Void become Sentry. We think that he's going to help build Dark Avengers, and that's going to be a part of the story, so we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
I wrote down the Wakanda crew. It's Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, and then I'm not going to try and pronounce his name respectfully, but the actor for Namor.
Hareta Miha.
We'll pretend that was close if it is. I have no idea.
Say it with confidence and no one will tell you you're wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Fair enough.
You're wrong.
And so, yeah, they're introduced. Joey and I talked about this. I'm surprised Winston Duke was given a chair. He's just a side character that Marvel likes to keep dragging into things for some reason, even though he never plays a big role in the stories. Yeah, I'm surprised Okoye didn't get a chair, but it is what it is.
I don't know quite yet. I think that she might, but I could also see her not really being involved.
I just don't know why Winston Duke got one.
Yeah.
In terms of Avengers, Anthony Mackie, Danny Ramirez, and Paul Rudd they're the only ones left, and they were all announced.
Other than Thor.
And then Thor, but he's MIA right now.
He's not Avenger right now.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston was announced.
Heck
Robert
yeah.
Downey Jr. was obviously announced.
Yep.
Simu Liu for Shang-Chi was announced. And then the X-Men kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, I guess Sir Patrick Stewart, James Marsden, Channing Tatum, Kelsey Grammer, Alan Cumming, last name Rajim, the old Mystique. And then we saw a post saying that Halle Berry was going to be in this movie, but was trying to get a deal done. Now she's claiming she's not going to be in this movie. Sorry, I have an echo, and it's really throwing me off as I try and talk. So she may not be, and it is what it is.
Right.
I assume she may have asked for more money than they were offering her, and they said, nope, that's over budget. Go away. That's what I assume. And that was everyone who's announced. I think the real surprise was here, obviously the X-Men, mostly Channing Tatum, and then Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the biggest thing that I didn't enjoy, and I think a lot of the internet also didn't enjoy, was the extraneous wait for 26 names. One of them that we already knew, which is Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I got on the live stream when it started. I didn't see the very beginning, but I saw them place Chris Hemsworth's chair, and so I just had it on my desktop the rest of the day. It was very annoying, but I will say it was kind of fun,
and I was still getting a little ticked off.
It was kind of fun because I would like set a timer because at the like point of like Florence Pugh, I kind of figured out like, okay, it's like every 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a timer and then would just like go back whenever I would hear the music. It was cool though. It was fun. Overall, I think the biggest surprise to me was definitely Tom Hiddleston. I didn't think we were going to see him back as soon as we are. And then James Marsden. I didn't think that he would ever come back as Cyclops.
He seemingly wants to.
I was kind of shocked that he did.
He was the first name after Stewart and McKellen where I was 100% he would come
back. In this case, I think that it really... I think right now we can't really say anything for certain. Clearly, we kind of already know the outcome of Thunderbolts after this.
Yeah.
We kind of already know what Fantastic Four is going to look like. Not really, but we at least know that the family will still be together, which I think, or maybe not be together, but they'll still be all alive. And I think that was, I mean, you could kind of predict that already. They weren't going to kill off one of them right away.
That'd be hilarious.
However,
if they killed off a Fantastic Four
would have been a good
introduction.
Right.
Would have been a good twist.
It would have been a very good twist.
Just kill off Reed Richards. Every single time
I'm
we see
wondering,
Reed Richards, he dies in the movie.
The one thing that I have with this that I remember talking, I believe it was to both of you one time, like during this time of like guessing what was happening, is that I would not be shocked if they take, because all of these X-Men that they say are from like the original universe. So other than Channing Tatum.
Kelsey Grammer
and I could see them going in a route where they killed them early on, and it's like Doom is killing them, and like in that universe, something like that. I could see that happening.
I could see if they don't make it to Secret Wars, they will definitely play a role in the first movie. They're not going to be killed off instantly because that's too many OG people to bring back just for a cameo. We had talked about Kelsey Grammer being obviously Beast in the Fox universe, but also in the end credit scene from the Marvels. We think he's going to be a part of that universe, and that's how they're going to explain like Channing Tatum knowing him or knowing the rest of the group. You're all laughing at me, but I'm not frozen.
Kelsey Grammer being obviously Beast.
What?
You're frozen on our ends.
Then how are you talking to me?
Anyways, Kelsey Grammer. You were talking about Kelsey.
Yeah, so do you just want me to go back and reconnect my thought, and we're just going to have a jump cut in the middle of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as I was saying, Kelsey Grammer being Beast in both Fox Universe and credit scene of the Marvels. I think that's how they're going to explain all the X-Men, how they know Channing Tatum. And then in X-Men 3, Mystique loses her powers because she gets hit with like the mutant cure. Obviously, if she's back, it's not the Fox universe, even though they were saved in Days of Future Past. So that's what I'm expecting. It's the same people, or mostly the same people, same actors, different universe.
Okay. Mikey, you got any predictions for X-Men?
I've got a lot, actually.
No, of what's been announced, not your lore theories from the comics.
Well, then we'll get into that much later.
I was going to say he's not listening.
Once I find all my notes.
The big thing for who has yet to be announced, because there's a lot of names missing, people want to see or people expected to see. Marvel said they're not done. They're probably going to do another announcement of some sorts, whether it's another stream. The big thing is for the X-Men, we haven't... there's been, 2 or 3 Colossuses? We haven't had any of them announced. Sean Ashmore as Iceman, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, Anna Paquin Rogue, and then no Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. So that was a big thing a lot of people were looking for, was especially those last 2 names, if they were going to be brought into the new universe. Although they have said multiple times when they build the X-Men, they want to do it without a Wolverine, because they don't want to recast Hugh Jackman. Aside from that, obviously. And then the other thing was no one from the First Class universe was announced, which we should have expected pretty easily.
I'm not surprised. My other one that I was kind of surprised. I don't know if you said it. Mark Ruffalo.
Who?
That was Mark Ruffalo.
No, because I only said the X-Men so far. But no, yeah, and
okay.
Tatiana Maslany, which
Yeah.
Russo said She-Hulk is going to be a big part of this movie. People were like, where are they? So I assume they'll be in round 2.
I would hope so.
After that, no Guardians of the Galaxies were
Doesn't
announced.
shock me.
Chris Pratt straight up said on like Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert he will be back for this movie, whether he was supposed to say that or not. He literally promised us his return. Tom Holland.
I'll be in this movie too. Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be in.
Tom Holland was not announced. Benedict Cumberbatch, which Joey and I thought was like the biggest surprise. Doctor Strange not being announced for a movie of this level. We thought for sure he would have been in the first batch. So that's when we started wondering like if maybe we're reading into it too much, but like maybe this group plays a bigger role together as a story as opposed to the people who weren't announced. Because then people like Don Cheadle, War Machine, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, not announced. None of the people from the Marvels universe of Brie Larson or Teyonah Parris or Lashai Lynch Binary, and then Photon, none of them were announced. And like Captain Marvel's become a more household name, so people were surprised about that. Benedict Wong was not announced as Wong. Thankfully, none of the Asgardians, the Meek, Korg, Lady Sif, Valkyrie, that was not announced. Keep anything that Taika Waititi touched 50 miles away from this project. I want restraining orders like signed for everything that he touched.
The only person from that I would be okay with, and it would make sense, at least with Thor, would be Valkyrie.
Nope.
That's the only one I'm okay with. Keep everyone else miles from this project.
Didn't they make her like the new leader of Asgard?
Yeah, she's in charge of
New
Asgard.
Asgard or whatever.
She's the leader of New Asgard.
She's been running it since Endgame.
I don't really love the ending of Ragnarok where they destroy Asgard, but that's just mine.
It's kind of the whole point of Ragnarok.
I know. I don't really love.
That's kind of how the
Ragnarok.
story goes. They didn't write that.
I'm saying I don't really love the movie in general. I know a lot of people love it.
Mikey's complaining about Norse mythology.
I know what it is. I'm just saying I don't love the whole purpose of the movie. I don't love the movie in general. They can get rid of it. You know, whatever.
I'm with Mikey. I don't like it.
No, I don't love Ragnarok looking back at it, but like they ended it because it, Norse mythology.
I think Thor: Love and Thunder was better than Ragnarok.
No. That is an egregiously bad take.
The children with the lightning attacking gore. Greatest scene in all of Marvel Comics, okay?
Anyway.
In all of Marvel, the MCU. It's phenomenal. Absolute cinema, as the absolute cinema guy says.
Martin Scorsese, the cinema guy.
The absolute cinema guy.
I know it's Martin Scorsese.
Arguably the greatest director of all times, or
have you never seen people on the internet refer to him as the absolute cinema guy?
No.
Really?
No.
What memes are you looking at, Brayden?
The same ones as you. Anyway, we're off track.
Really not.
The last batch of non-things announced were the Young Avengers. Xochitl Gomez, America Chavez, Dominique Thorne for Ironheart, and then Catherine Newter as Cassie Lang, and then Iman Vellani for Miss Marvel. Although we do know new stuff about her from the Daredevil Born Again show. She's out in California somewhere. She's visiting Cassie Lang. So it very much seems like she's trying to build Young Avengers. Kate Bishop accidentally said on her Sinners red carpet premiere that she's going to be in the next movie. Somebody kind of shouted it out. She wasn't really thinking. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to be in the next movie. And then like they asked her again, and she kind of like thought about it and was like, okay, I'm going to move on now, and like walked away. Eternals, probably dead. They're not showing up. Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, At first they said no. Now it seems like maybe.
I
At
don't
least
think
for
it will
Secret
fit.
Wars. It does seem like they're considering him from a lot of insider reports.
For Secret Wars, yes. For Doomsday,
yeah, for Doomsday,
not
no.
yet.
But they
I don't
said
see a point
they
with him in
were
general.
actually like, well, hold on, we can make it work. And then
I would get more Khonshu with Secret Wars, but not Moon Knight.
that's stupid. Nobody wants to watch Khonshu.
But Khonshu actually is in Secret Wars.
Yeah, but nobody would want to watch that on a movie. They want to see Oscar
But
Isaac.
he doesn't play a large role. He's just a baron of one of the realities in the 2015 one. So that's what I'm saying. It would make more sense to have Khonshu, who's the actual god, rather than
Right, but
Moon
this
Knight.
universe is so different than either of the Secret Wars runs that there's going to be so much space for originality that it really doesn't matter. And then the other one being Sylvie, Sofia de Martino, was not announced. A lot of people were wondering if she was
I'm
going to show
okay
up.
with it.
I don't think she'll
I don't
show
really
up.
care.
Haley
I don't think she
Atwell
will.
confirmed to reprise her role in both movies as Captain Carter. This is going to be the third iteration of Captain Carter that we've seen, if you include What If. I don't really know what the...
Well, yeah.
I don't know why Marvel loves this character so much, because nobody does. None of the fans are obsessed with this character, except for the executives.
They may be bringing her back because, as I said with Khonshu, in the 2015 run, Higher Avalon is run by Captain Britain.
It's the Captain
So
Britain
she may
Corps,
be a baroness.
but it's all of the guy Captain Britons, like the actual Captain Britain, as opposed to
but
her.
we've never been introduced to those. So she may be the baroness of Higher Avalon if they
if they
decide
were
to go
to do
similar
that,
story like
because
that.
there's a lot of other characters they'd have to introduce to do that storyline. Other things that are important that have been coming out: Vision Quest officially happening, will come out before Secret Wars. James Spader returns as Ultron. Ultron is semi important present in both of the Secret Wars runs. We'll see if that plays into it. In the span of like a week,
I think
I don't think it'll happen because in both of those runs, he's like he's like actually Ultron.
well,
And I don't think
he's only in the 84, 85 one.
no, he's in the new one because
he's in the
one of
2015,
the like
but only for
tribes that roams the wasteland. It's the Ultron AI, the Annihilation, and the
Well,
Marvel
yeah,
zombies.
but Ultron itself only
So,
actually is in.
My thing is,
84,
they're not going to
85.
be.
84.
These are all going to be not from the same universe. Everybody that gets brought together, because in the comics, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers all live in the same timeline in the 84 run, and even in most of the 2015 run. So it's obviously going to be very different from the comics. Sorry, the echo's still throwing me off.
I don't think the X-Men are
Yeah, they are.
all in the 2015 run. I can't think
No.
of any of them.
But they're in the 84, so that's my point.
They are in the
Is
they
that,
are in
like,
the 84 and the 85.
They all
run,
are
but
in
they're-
the same universe in the comics. And it's like, it just doesn't make sense
But
to
no, I mean the
try and
20
treat it that way for the movies.
My biggest thing with this like 84, 85, and 2015 comic is that there are going to be similar.
It's going to be a
attributes
very
to both
original
of them.
story.
Yeah, it's going to be. And I think the biggest thing is mainly like they're going to take like I think the sprinklings of the beginning of both of those comics, kind of put them together to start the movie, and then they're going to just take it.
It's going to be a very original plotline.
Yeah,
Because
and I'm excited.
if you guys want to know more, Comics Explained on YouTube does a series on both of those runs. They're really good. And you'll basically learn that like those stories are only good for those comic universe. Like if they were to adapt those stories in the movies would be horrible because it wouldn't make sense.
I think they'd be able to do a 2015, 2016 inspired run. That one's pretty.
No, because
with
there's
what
too
you
much
have.
about Doom being a big player before that in the comics, and the Illuminati being a big part of it, which doesn't exist, and certain characters that are dead
I
or
think-
I
retired.
think Mikey's saying just like
You'd be
as
able-
a whole,
No,
You'd be
you
able
could
to
do
adapt
that.
it pretty
You could
easily.
do the
You just
Doom
need to cut that
Revolution.
stuff out.
You could do the 2015 Doom Revolution. But I'm saying like the main parts of that where like Black Panther goes and gets the Infinity Gauntlet. Like
No,
None of that would work.
I don't think that. Neither of them can work in the current universe we have. I
You
think
can get
the
essence,
84, 85.
but
You could, yeah. I think in the 84, 85, if they made a universe to literally lead up to that comic being told exactly as it is, that comic's not good enough to be a movie in general. If they were to do the same thing for the 2015, 2016, I think it could work more. Again, they would have to basically
a lot
be
of
like,
originality.
all right, this is going to be our ending, but we just need to build how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And if they did that, I think it would work. But again,
It would
we're
work,
never going to
but
see
they'd
that.
still have to
No.
change a lot about it.
You can change a good amount about it, but the actual core concept of the 2015 one would
The
work
concept
even
of
in the MCU.
Doom building the battle world and then having everybody
think that's the
together
best
makes
one.
sense. But
Well,
you
yeah.
have
I
to
think that's going to be
change.
the best way to go.
That's like Bar Sinister. We have no Mr. Sinister. That's not going to exist. So you have to take.
Well,
certain
yeah, I mean,
plot points and just
obviously you
spin
don't-
them.
You
Like the
Again,
main
obviously, you
characters that
don't
start the
need-
revolution are Miles Morales, Jane Foster. Like they're not going to use them.
well, no, you don't
They
need
could
to
use Miles Morales.
We're
They
not
could use
saying
They
you
better not.
hey followed the story exactly. We're just saying you can still follow
No.
the core.
That's what I'm saying though.
concept
But
of the
like
story.
they're going to have to still change a good bit for it to work. Just
I
because of
I
the
think the
state
Miles
the movies
Morales
are
will
in.
stay, and I think they're going to use the animated.
They better not.
Yes.
No, because it makes no
I wanna
sense.
see
Because at
this
the end of
mismatch
the
of live
at
action
the
and
end of the
animation.
comics, he goes and lives with Peter Parker in the main universe. How
Yeah,
could
and
he
that's
possibly
because-
go back to the Sony universe?
and
knowing
you
what
know
he knows
why
now? It makes no sense.
they
Marvel
And
do
he's
it.
Marvel, they
also
could do
only a
anything.
part of the comics because the Ultimate universe
They-
was combined
True.
with the main 616.
True.
They actually no. He's the only one that goes to the main 616 universe, and that's all because he gives Molecule Man a burger.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
That's
saying. Is like it makes no sense to
I love
make
the
him a
random
part of
things
Secret
like
Wars
that.
and then strip him straight out of the MCU and throw him into Beyond the Spider-Verse. It makes zero sense.
Obviously, Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to take part before this, even though it's being released 10 years
It's
from now.
no Miles Morales is not going to be a part of this movie. I guarantee it.
I don't think he'll be a part of Doomsday, but I think he'll be a part of Secret Wars.
I wouldn't
would-
be surprised
no,
if we
I
get
wouldn't
Miles
even say
Morales if they want to introduce Miles Morales. In some
If
way,
they
shape, or
want to
form.
do
we may
a
see
random
Miles.
Miles Morales
We
who's
may
not
see
from
Miles
the
Morales
Sonyverse,
appear in
then
Spider-Man:
maybe.
Brand New Day.
That's
we may see him
definitely not
appear in
happening.
Brand New Day. We may
I
get
don't
the
know.
MCU one.
It's that depends on Sony and legal issues.
Why not? Why wouldn't it?
Because we've
Just
talked
say,
about
why
that.
not?
Well, we've
called
talked
Brand
about
New
that
Day.
with
They wanna bring
Sony
in new
and stuff.
characters. Who is Sadie Sink?
But can they bring him in and keep Sony out of production? That's the whole reason we don't have MJ Watson. We've talked about that on the show. That's a big problem. Anyway, in the span of like a week,
I hate money.
yeah, Blade apparently
I
got
hate that they
Chad
got to do
Stahelski
money.
as a director, and then canned the movie like the same week. So I don't think this movie is
Yeah.
happening.
What was I gonna say?
Spider-Man: Brand New Day
Oh,
is coming out between. Oh, go ahead.
Do you think at any point we are actually not Wesley Snipes, Mahershala Ali's? Is there any point in actually doing Blade anymore?
No, I think it's done because I think they wanted to do Midnight Suns, but I just don't see it happening.
Right.
I don't really see the purpose of bringing him in at this point. I mean, if they bring in the X-Men, you have kind of a larger variety of stories they can tell, so it would make more sense to have Blade. But at this point in time, I don't really see a purpose of it.
I
mean,
really
because it's
think
not like
they were
he
riding
can
the
do
Midnight
much.
Suns train, and then that just
They
failed.
probably were.
And honestly, I think that would have been a smarter way because you could go Midnight Suns, and then Midnight Suns could lead into Illuminati, and then Illuminati could lead into Secret Wars.
Yeah, but there's some characters like Iron Man's on the Illuminati, Black Bolt's in the Illuminati, and you haven't introduced the Inhumans. So
Well, no, I mean, but they've introduced the other realities version of the Illuminati.
Right.
So the core
that
concept
wasn't
of
even-
the Illuminati still stands.
but not in the main universe.
I was going to
That's
say
my point.
the other Illuminati.
There may
didn't
be
have
another
Iron Man, and they don't
Illuminati
have
in
to.
another universe that are discussing the incursion rather than
like,
this main
If we're
version.
are we talking about the main universe, like our main MCU
Yes.
universe,
Yes.
But who would be a part of that? Who would Doctor Strange, who's not the Sorcerer Supreme right now, bring into that circle? Because remember, he doesn't meet anyone until after Infinity War. I don't think the Illuminati's happening.
I don't. I'm not counting them out. I don't think it will happen for Doomsday or
No.
Secret Wars. It
I don't
will
think it's
be
happening
afterwards.
I just don't think it's happening in
I
general.
think it will still happen, but after Secret Wars.
I don't think
They
you
still
really
don't.
need the Illuminati at this point.
No, you don't need it. Because
I mean,
they still don't even know if they
Let's
want
match
to
it
do
for a
Ghost
minute. The
Rider.
Illuminati doesn't. They serve kind of a purpose, but without Black Panther, without T'Challa and without Iron Man, I mean, once you lose Iron Man, you kind of lost the Illuminati in the first place.
Yeah. And Blackboard's also
Here's
a
a
big part of
question.
it, and they have no Blackboard.
What after this is a long shot question. What do you do if you're Marvel after Secret Wars in 2027? What is your next big thing that you're going towards?
X-Men is the easy one. And then after that, you build the Young Avengers completely. And you start fresh because you have Young Avengers, Young X-Men, and then you have everybody else who wants to do their own thing. That's what I see.
What's your
Maybe
next
you do
big
the Inhumans
bad?
then.
Who's your next big bag? Like
That's a good
Magneto
question.
or
You could build him. You could redo Apocalypse. You could do...
that could
Maybe
be
they do Kang. There is a lot you can still do. I'm just blanking on people they can use as big bads.
the one thing that I'm
still-
interested in, and that I'm shocked we haven't really talked about it at all, not even on the show, but just in general, is Galactus in Fantastic Four.
So Mikey and I were talking about this right before you joined. We think, or at least I think, it's going to be like in the comics for the Fantastic Four movie, where Reed is like, I have the ultimate nullifier. Go away and don't eat Earth or I'll blow you up. And then Galactus is still alive. He gets pulled to the universe with the Fantastic Four. And then that's just how they explain it. I just don't think they kill him off. And then I think they maybe discard the Silver Surfer thing.
I could see them discarding Galactus until after Secret Wars.
Maybe they do that.
Using him as a crutch to start Secret Wars,
He may
and
be,
then
right?
have him in that 84-85 series where he kind of just
we also know
He's in both.
comes back at the end.
He's in both Secret Wars runs, so I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
but he doesn't
surprised
really
if he's in.
play a role in
But
the
in
second
neither
one.
run, he does. He doesn't really do much in either run. I mean,
He doesn't do much in either. I
in,
could see
in
them
84 and 85,
Well,
he's
he
only
plays
mainly
a-
a catalyst for Doom to steal
Yeah.
the Beyonder's powers.
That's what I was
in
gonna
the
say.
In the 2015 run, he's being controlled by Doom's son, Franklin. Yeah.
technically Reed's
So, well,
Um,
yeah, but I mean, it's Doom's in the comic. So, but
Well, no, it's Reed's. They just made everybody think it was Doom's, with Valeria. So that's the other thing.
well, no. What I'm saying is
In the new-
in the 2015
No,
run, in that
the
actual
2015
realm
run,
that he
it
builds,
is still
it's-
Reed's kid. Reed knows that because he was on the Ultimate ship with Miles Morales. He knows that those are his kids, but he just doesn't tell Sue because she's still trying to figure everything out at the end of the comic.
Well,
Doom
no.
knows it's not his kids, and Valeria finds out she's not Doom's daughter.
Well, no, it's not the fact that she's not Doom's daughter. It's the fact that she knows that Doom's lying about not telling the whole truth.
Yeah, but they know because they
whatever
were
this world is
already in
not real.
existence before Doom created Battleworld. That's how she finds
Yeah,
out.
but when
So that's the
Battleworld
other
is
thing.
created,
Maybe
they
build
are
future founding.
Doom's children, right? Although they are Reed's children in the main reality, they are Doom's children in Battleworld.
Only by memory, not by blood, because they're mutants, or they're super abled, and Doom can't pass that on.
Yeah, but
Because Franklin and
Sue
Valeria
is
have
still
their powers.
superpowered.
Yeah,
Yes,
but that's what I'm saying. Is
Sue
they
is
have
still
their
superpowered.
powers because they were
Also,
already born.
Doom is God in this reality.
Right, but they're not. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, in the
This is a
new
tangent
trailer that
doesn't
we are
really need to be
yet to
explored
be
in this
given
comic,
for
in
the
this
Fantastic
conversation,
Four.
so-
He's just talking over me for no reason. In the new trailer, we haven't been given. We find out for the new Fantastic Four movie, Sue is pregnant. Franklin is their first child, and so it makes me wonder if that's because that was part of the leaked concept art of Doom sitting in the chair, and he had like Strange beside him and Sue on his other side. Franklin was standing right there, so I wonder if they're gonna run with that at all. Because in the '84 run, Sue Storm is not present at all. She doesn't get grabbed by the Beyonders and go with everybody else, but she's a part of the second run. So I wonder how they're going to treat that.
She is present for quite literally
like one
3
panel.
pages of the '84 run, and that is her talking to Jarvis, and it's revealed that she's pregnant, and then we cut back to Reed, and Reed.
Yeah, she's just living life.
I have it in my notes somewhere. For like 3 whole pages in the '84 run, because it's so hard to get through. They're debating. The heroes are debating on who should lead the team. Okay, and Professor X is like, I don't know who you guys are. He's like, I don't know who you guys are. Hey, Reed, you should be it. And Reed's like, my mind is elsewhere. My wife is pregnant. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm unfit to lead this team. What about Cap? And before Cap can even say a word, you have the Wasp going, I'm the leader of the Avengers, but I'll defer the responsibilities to Cap. Because you guys don't know me. And I fear you'll trust my judgment. And it's like, yeah, but this is something completely different at this point. We're not talking about, like, hey, because you're the leader of the Avengers, you should automatically lead our teams. This is, let's evaluate who's here and who's fit to lead. And that's what they do. And she just chimes in going, I'm the leader of the Avengers,
but it makes sense because she's the leader of the Avengers. If Cap was the leader, someone would have been like, Cap should lead. It makes sense. I think you're letting your personal judgment of the character overshadow.
Not at all. I'm saying she didn't need to chime in at all. There was no purpose of her chiming in. They go, quite literally, here's what happens. Reed goes, it should be Captain America. And then Thor goes, I second that notion. Okay? Because they know who Captain America is. They're familiar with his leadership abilities. And before he can even accept, she then says, I'm the leader of the Avengers, but I'll defer responsibilities to Captain America because you guys don't know me. You may not trust my judgment. And it's like, you're not fit to lead a group like this, unlike Cap, who in the comics is already proven to be fit to lead a team like this.
But he's not the leader of the Avengers.
But that doesn't matter.
Her point. That is the whole point.
No, that'd be like, okay, let's put it this way. All right.
That's
in
like,
the DC realm of things,
here's the equivalent. If aliens show up and they say, who's the leader of America? That's like saying Mikey because he runs a pro-American Instagram account. It has no correlation than saying the president.
What are you talking about? No, this is quite literally, they nominate Captain America, and she just randomly chimes in going, I'm
so the equivalent is everyone nominating Mikey, and then the president going, well, actually, I'm the president of this company.
That's not the equivalent at all. That is not the equivalent at all. That would... No, it's not. It would be like
your point makes no sense.
In the realm of DC, a whole bunch of you have the Green Lanterns bickering and the Teen Titans bickering, and they all go, Batman should lead this team, and then Superman going, I'm the leader of the Justice League, but Batman is better fit to lead, right?
Yeah, but if Superman was actually the leader at the time, then his point is valid.
But they don't nominate the Wasp at all. She just randomly chimes in. That's where my frustration is.
Because obviously, she feels, as the Avengers, her name should be in the ring. Which is a fair point.
No. She immediately
defers Iron Man was the leader in the comics, and he said the same thing, it would make sense. Yeah, you chug that beer.
This point in time is not... This point in time isn't... her suggesting she should lead. It's everyone's picking Cap, and she just
and it's her going, I'm the leader of Avengers. Why is nobody picking me? Which is a fair point.
It's not. It's quietly. She says, I'm the leader of the Avengers, but I'm deferring responsibility to Cap because you guys don't trust me.
Okay, how about you go talk to the guy who was snorting coke in the 80s before he wrote this line?
I'm just saying. Also, your correlation of people going, Mikey, you're the leader... You're the leader because you run a pro-American Instagram is not anything, any way, shape, or form like this at all.
Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out between the Avengers movies. Mikey thinks this is going to be a prequel. I don't see how it could be a prequel.
I thought it was before Doomsday.
No, it's coming out like 2 months after Doomsday.
Yeah.
Mikey thinks
I don't
this is
see
a
how you can
prequel to the
physically-
Avengers movies.
I think it's going to be a prequel explaining Spider-Man and where he is prior to the events of Doomsday.
I think if this was a prequel, they would just delay Doomsday and release it first, because it would make no sense for them to do this.
Well, I see it as they are gonna do kind of a mix where it's gonna explain what he's doing during the events, or like maybe a little bit before into during the events of Doomsday, and then also go into a little bit on what is after Doomsday, and then help the movie's gonna help to place him involved in the Secret Wars. But I could also see them announcing that Tom Holland's gonna be in Doomsday, but it's only gonna be for like this much.
Well, yeah.
He's not going to be in
And then it's
Doomsday
gonna be
because he's
explained
filming
more in
Odyssey.
Brand New Day.
But
That
think
doesn't
about
mean
it.
he's not gonna be
He's
in
got to
Doomsday at
do
all.
press
I was
for
gonna say,
Odyssey.
he
He's
could
got to
be
film Odyssey. He's got to be available for reshoots for Odyssey. And
He
they're
may be
starting
only in a
production
li-
No, but
now.
He may be in
here's the thing,
this
they're
much of the
already-
film, so he's only required to be on set for Doomsday for like
Like
a
a
week
week.
total.
And
I don't
plus
see
the
that
set,
happening,
the same
because they have
sets
to
for Brand New
fly
Day
him
and
to a
Doomsday
different
are gonna
country
be in
for
the
that.
same area.
I don't see that happening.
No, I
I'm sorry,
don't
when
bet
are they
that, 'cause
filming Doomsday exactly?
Like
They're
now.
doing it right now. Odyssey's
In London.
filming right now, and then Spider-Man's starting in what? July or August or something?
They
Spider-Man's technically
Spider-Man
already begun.
comes
but-
out.
may film
right
his
after
parts of
Doomsday.
Doomsday while he's
Yeah, that's what I'm
filming
saying.
Spider-Man.
When he comes back after Odyssey, because Odyssey's going to be done filming in the next month or two, because they've already started and they're going to be done soon, because Nolan takes forever to edit anyways. So he's going to go and then go to do Spider-Man, and then there's probably going to be a week or two where either the same, like where Doomsday's filming and Spider-Man's filming is going to be across the street, so they're just going to have him go over and film a few
I don't think
scenes,
they're going to film
or
Spider-Man.
they're going to fly him over there.
I don't think they're going to film Spider-Man in Europe. So
They may just-
you can't have
they
him in
may
the same
just-
area.
They may just have the scenes in which Spider-Man's going to be in filmed while he's on set for
Yeah.
for
I don't see
Spider-Man.
him being a part
They-
of Doomsday.
I could see him.
I don't-
I could see
I don't
him,
physically
but I
how
could
you
also
see-
see him not.
I don't really see how there can be a movie set in between these two films.
I
Well, here's the thing.
see
You
no
gotta-
reason with there
there's
being.
got to be a lot of stuff.
There's
in
a lot
between
of
these
stuff.
two.
being
My
released.
thing is there is no logical way that I can think of that these two are
Because-
not like
Yeah, but you
connected.
think
like,
that
they're not just,
Doomsday
hey,
will end
here's
a
the events
certain
of
way.
Doomsday immediately leading to the events of Secret Wars.
But you think that the ending of Doomsday will be the incursions, and Secret Wars will pick up immediately afterwards. You're not allowing any other possibility. You're dead set on that.
I can't see any other possibility. That's the thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
What other
With such an original story that they're writing, anything is possible.
I don't think it's going to be that original.
I don't think it's.
I think it's going to be more original than it is based off the comics.
I say that just because the Russos, they don't do as much original content as you think.
No, but I'm saying this is going to be. They haven't finished the script and they're already filming. They said that. This is going to be very original in my eyes, and it's going to be loosely based off of both of the runs. I don't see how.
If you do that, I think you're going to lose a lot of fans.
I don't
It
think
doesn't matter. We're not
I
going to
don't
know till
think
the movie
there's-
comes out.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of 1984 to
There can't be a lot
1985
of
story.
1984. Mikey and I talked about this. That story's it's iconic. It's pretty
It's
mediocre.
atrocious.
I didn't even finish it. I couldn't finish it. It's just between the writing is one thing, but just
And the story is aggressively repetitive.
yeah. But the
And it's so
actual
drawn out.
the plot of it is just kind of weak.
It's just
you know,
meh.
it's. I mean, it could have been more original even during the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Just oh hey yeah here's a world in which heroes and villains will battle.
The whole point, they explained it in that YouTube video we mentioned earlier. The whole point of Secret Wars was
so action
because
figures.
us
Brandon
fans will be like, hey, if this guy fought
us.
this guy, who would win. And so
Oh.
that's why they wrote Secret Wars.
Oh
And
no, I
then
mean,
also
no,
merchandising.
it was literally to sell action figures.
It was that,
Yeah.
but then it was also to satisfy those needs of like, if Spider-Man fought Wolverine, who would win? Or if this guy fought this guy. And so that's why they did it, because the heroes fight each other, the heroes and villains fight each other, heroes of X-Men fight Avengers, villains. And so they just wanted to answer all those questions. So like in the movies, it makes no sense.
There's one part in the damn run in which the villains are all arguing because they want to fight and beat the heroes, that way they can get the prize. And Doom is like, the prize is meaningless, guys. We have just watched this thing destroy all of the universe and then rebuild it in front of our eyes and then swat down Galactus like a bug. We need to figure out how to obtain this power. And they're like,
Yeah.
get a load of this guy. Okay, we can get this measly prize compared to this guy who wants to be a god. Okay, so then he gets frustrated and leaves, and he literally steps. For the record, the Beyonder.
Well, first he like
says to them-
announces his departure.
Yes.
So he like lets everybody know he's abandoning them.
Yeah, but so prior to this though, the Beyonder states, "Hey, here's this alien world, and I've given you all this advanced technology for you to use." So you can already infer that although it's alien technology, it's still not alien enough where they can't figure it out, right? It's obviously easy enough to figure out for them. And Doom walks away. He goes into this ship and goes, "An alien ship is easy for someone of my intellect to figure out how to fly," and then flies away, and then gets shot down by Kang, who then says out loud and states, "Operating this alien cannon is easy because I have one just like it." And it's like, you guys don't need to say this. You don't
They
need to
explain
say
it
this.
at the very end. Is that like
already
the
inferred.
reason they say this is for our sake? Because
But
it's like,
the reader
the
can
heroes
infer.
need somewhere to rest and they need some food. And then magically over this hill is a big house with a lot of food. So it's like,
I mean,
the Beyonders crafted a world for them to cope to their needs. And they explain
my
it at the
thing
end,
is-
but at the time it makes no sense.
Well, my thing is, like, when it comes to them outright stating, like, "Oh, I can use this. I can pilot
That's for
this
the
ship."
reader's sake.
But you can already infer it because the way the Beyonder states, "Hey, here's this advanced technology for you to use." You can already infer that the Beyonder is trying to give them this thing
Yeah, but the Beyonder
to use,
has
right?
gone and he
why
doesn't
would-
reappear until the end to explain why he did what he did.
Yeah,
so, like,
but my
it's
thing is,
for our
if he says,
purposes.
"Hey, I'm giving you all this alien technology and this advanced technology for you to use," why would he give them stuff that they wouldn't be able to comprehend how to operate?
It's the same reason they meet that like alien village of space healers and nobody knows who they are. Like it's just they're just there. It doesn't matter.
No, what I'm saying is the characters don't need to outright state, "Hey, I know how to operate this," because we can already infer with context clues that the Beyonder is giving them technology that they would be able to figure out how to use anyway.
Yeah, but to be fair, they hadn't done anything but fight each other up until that point. So
Still, though,
again,
I mean,
we're
you don't
getting
need to outright
aggressively
state
off topic for a story we already said was very mediocre.
It's very mediocre.
The one thing that I have as a thought, I think it would be a very nice way to introduce Doom, transition the big bads the right way, and would kind of solidify like Doom, like, and it would be a nice way to solidify that Doom is here and is not doing no other business. He's here to do what he wants. And you don't need a whole lot of like background story to him, is the Doom Thanos interaction in the comic, where there's been edits going around on Instagram and TikTok of it being happened. I like it because if you open the movie with that, it's showing you, at least for fans that are not like us, that don't have comic information, that don't really understand what's been going on because they haven't been watching all the shows or all the movies since, where they literally just open and it's Thanos, Doom, they're having their dialogue. I wouldn't change it a whole lot. You still have to keep that line when Doom goes, "That seems untrue."
Right.
And basically do their whole thing, and then just Doom rips out his spine.
As
That
someone who
seems
knows-
untrue. Title card.
As someone who knows this comic story, I would love that. That makes zero sense for the average person though, because they're like, Thanos is dead, and
You would have
he's
to
God
establish
Doom
it
in
in a
that
different
story. He's
universe.
not Doom.
I think that they could
So
do
if they
it
were to
after
do
the
that
title
in
cards.
but then you're telling
You have to do it in
something
Secret
that's
Wars,
probably
because you
from
need God
Secret
Emperor
Wars in the Doomsday intro.
Yeah.
So then you lose a lot of people
So,
because they're
yeah,
like
the only
Thanos
thing is,
isn't in
I
the
think
rest
they
of this
could.
movie.
I think they could work.
You would
Doom's
need
not
to
white in the
establish-
rest of this movie.
You would need to establish Doom having the power of the Beyonders. You would need to establish that this is a different version of Thanos. And the only thing is, that interaction actually happens very late in the Secret
It's
Wars.
the very end
It is.
of the second run. So that's why, like, I would love that. But
It'd
it
be
makes
awesome.
0 sense.
But you would need
to do
you would
that.
need to figure out a way to do it. I mean,
I think
You could
they
do
could
it,
do it
at
in
the
a
end
way
of the
that
Secret
would
Wars
work
movies,
very well.
not at the beginning of Doomsday.
I think they could do it in Doomsday, and they can make it work.
It would make no sense.
I think
Because
they can make it
then
work.
you're taking something from movie 2 to start off movie 1, and nobody has any context as to what's happening.
Well, because the
All they
thing
know
is
is
that
Thanos
you
has
wouldn't even
randomly
have.
appeared. Doom is in white robes, and he's got like god
Well,
powers.
he doesn't need to be in white robes. You just need
Well,
to
but
take the
that's the-
concept of Doom and Thanos meeting, and Doom basically just asserting his dominance over the entirety
I
of
think
the
you need a
MCU
power scale
by killing
immediately.
Thanos right away.
I think you do
unless-
immediately need a power scaling match, but you can't do that one. You have to do something
No.
else.
unless you
No.
do it as it's like some sort of dream or nightmare sequence that
Yeah,
character
but that's
is
kind of
having,
stupid.
and then show it later in the film.
I think if
Could
you
be they could do
repeat
that
it-
because if it's RDJ and they said that Iron Man is going to be a part of this Doom story, RDJ's Iron
remember
Man's
that.
going to be. There's
I feel like that'd
many
be way
reports
bigger
of it.
news.
I don't like
Yeah,
that.
there's
I
multiple
don't.
reports of that.
I don't like it at all.
That they base it. The Russos said that RDJ's Iron Man story will have an effect on this Doom's story.
I wouldn't be surprised if
So then, if it's like a nightmare sequence like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if RDJ isn't actually the main.
Mikey is
Doom
still
and
hung up
Secret
that
Wars.
he's not the same Doom. But I think
He
if you're
may
only
not
doing 2 movies of Doom, that's not
He may
enough
be-
time to play
he
that
may
story.
be- He may.
I don't
be
think it's
the-
going to be the last time we see Doom.
I don't think it will be either.
I'm not saying that, but
But
they're not going to kill
I-
off RDJ in between these movies or like in one of these movies and replace him with a Cillian Murphy second Doom.
They
in
may
this
do it-
series run.
if they decide to keep Secret Wars for the way that they initially planned it, and have Kang, like the whole story of like the Kang Dynasty, if say the ending of Kang Dynasty was say the end of Kang Dynasty was Kang dying to the hands of Doom.
Yeah.
We'll just say that for in theory. That may stay the exact same. The only difference being that, hey, this is just a different version of Doom. This Doom was pulling the strings all along, but this is the first Doom that we see. Right.
Yeah,
The
but
RDJ Doom's the Doom in Doomsday, but the real Doom is pulling the strings in Doomsday, kills off the Doom that we see, and then it's the actual
That's
main
just
villain.
lazy writing, though.
But maybe he's using this Doom as
They
like
would
a
not bring back
distraction.
RDJ as a fake Doom. They wouldn't do that. That'd be the dumbest thing ever.
I don't like
I'm gonna be
why they
honest. There
bring
are
him
so
back
many
as the real
things that
Doom.
we did not think that they would do, and they've done it.
Yeah, but
I'm
I think
not
that
ruling
is
out anything.
by far the dumbest thing Marvel would have ever done is to bring
As
back
of right now,
RDJ,
I think
campaign
the
him as
dumbest
the big
thing is
bad, and then just be like, oh, he's a fake Doom, and then kill him off.
I
There's
just
no way
think that
happens.
well, no, he's not the fake Doom, but he's just not the real like the actual
Still,
big threat.
They wouldn't do
But
that.
my thing is, I think it's already stupid that you're bringing in RDJ to
The
be
moment has
Doom in the
passed
first
for
place.
that. We just have to move on.
I still think it's stupid. I just don't understand.
No, I'm
why
not.
they would do that.
I agree with you, but the moment's passed. Like, there's nothing we can do about that. We
It
had
seems
our
like a
time
waste
to
of the
complain
Doom
on the
character.
internet, and they didn't listen to us.
Right.
Anyway, the other big thing is, aside from Doom, the main character of both of these runs is Molecule Man. He is, without a doubt, like I said, aside from Doom, the main character, the most important character in both of these runs. So they have to figure out how to cast him because there's been no news of a new character casting. Usually we can tell, like with Spider-Man Brand New Day, they are apparently shopping for someone who fits the narrative of Mr. Negative. They haven't put out anywhere like, hey, agents, call us for someone who fits this description who could be a Molecule Man. Like, nothing has been put out yet. So it makes me wonder
I don't
if
think
they're
they'll do
doing
it.
that. They have to. He is the most
I don't
important
think they
character
will.
of both runs.
I understand, but I think it's going to be one of those things that's where your original concept thing is going to come into play. I don't think they're going to do it because he is such an influential part of both of the runs that he needs a little bit more rebuilding. And so I don't think it'll happen.
Mikey, do you want to start singing?
I believe I can fly. Spread my wings and soar the sky. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me. I mean, because I
No,
saw
because
you
Mikey
kind
and
of
I
like
kept looking at each
right
other,
there for a bit.
and I was like, "You gonna do it? You gonna do it? You gonna do it?" Okay, we've all had our problems now. What goes around comes around. I'm assuming you were talking about originality, and that if they don't bring him in, I won't be surprised. I simply wouldn't be surprised if they don't bring him in. Oh, nice. So, for those of you listening,
I mean, we can.
Joey's college
You seem
internet
fine now,
apparently just
Joe. We don't know.
crashed. Yeah, go ahead and talk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Um,
Well, it was
anyway.
funny because all of a sudden I was talking and then I saw a thing pop up and I stopped and then I looked at my thing and it was like out and I was like, oh, this is fun. Anyways,
So, I assume you're
I
talking
don't.
about
Anyways,
originality.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't
He's
think it'll
too
happen.
big of a character
I
that
just think
needs to be explained more.
they don't have to,
I think
They
it
don't
needs
have
to
to.
be explained more.
because
So
here's the
they
thing.
they
could just bring
explain
him in.
they
could just
explain
rip him in.
Molecule Man in very well in the 2015 Secret Wars run. In the
Yeah, they
during
just-
the run, they explain who he is during the run.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm saying.
I think
You can
it's
explain him as
possible-
the story goes on. I think it's very possible.
Do you really think they could do? Okay, here. Well, here's a
I think he's
general
one of the
question.
easiest to explain because they're just
Unless they
bring him in
mention-
from another universe, like with the X-Men. They just pull him from another universe and he appears and he's like, "Hey
I
guys,
think that's
look what I
dumb.
can do."
So they may mention him in like Fantastic Four and in Thunderbolts because the thing is with the 2015-2016 run, Molecule Man was actually designed by the Beyonders to wipe out the multiverse. So
Yeah.
he was broken up into essentially an infinite amount of fragments, and one version of him, the exact same version of him, he's one, but he's an
Yeah,
infinite
they
amount all
Basically
on
cloned him,
one
but they had
world.
like a hive mind.
So they may do something similar, and they may just, hey, here's Owen Reese. Oh, hey, the Molecule Man or whatever. In this movie,
I
he's
also
Owen
don't
Reese.
think
In this
the
movie,
Beyonders
and then
are
in
going to be a part
Secret
of these
Wars,
stories.
they may mention this is how it is.
Because the Beyonders make
Here's
no
a
sense
general question
to
that
bring
can
in.
maybe help answer if they're gonna have the time. If they're gonna have the time to explain him as much as they do in the 2015, how long do you think this movie is going to go at the minimum?
Both of them 3 hours minimum. They showed they can do it with
Okay.
Endgame.
Mike?
They're going to do it both minimum 3 hours. I would guess somewhere between 3 and
Yeah.
3:15 for Doomsday, and then it's going to be 3 and 3:30 for Secret Wars. I think they're both going to be long
Okay.
movies.
I could see them pushing Secret Wars to almost 4 hours.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think if they are like, hey, this is a 3 hour, 45-minute movie for Secret Wars, everyone's going to be like, thank you. Like, no rushing, no stupid
I
exposition.
don't know if everyone's going to do that, but there are
I
going to
think-
be multiple
okay,
people
The
like us
little
that go.
kids and the parents, they're going to have to sit there with their kids for 3 hours and 45 minutes, like the 12-year-olds.
That's
suck
your
it
own
up.
fault.
Us who have grown up with Marvel, who this story is really meant for, we're going to be very happy because it
Oh,
means
yeah.
they're not rushing and there's not going to be stupid exposition and like things are going to have their time and place the way they should.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Excuse me.
I don't think the Beyonders are going to be a part of this. I don't really see how they bring them in because
I don't see how you do a Secret Wars
The-
story without the Beyonders.
I don't see
I
how
mean,
you're
look,
doing
the-
without Molecule Man. But the thing is,
the-
like,
the
we've never
Beyonders
seen a
are-
power scale bigger than the Celestials, and this is basically God,
that's-
like
that's-
the ultimate God.
That's
from
exactly how it is,
real-life
though.
religions.
In both comics, in both comic runs, that's exactly how it is, right? The Beyonders don't exist until Secret Wars in the 84-85 run, and
But my
that's what
thing
shocks
is,
him so much.
It feels. I understand what you're saying, but it feels lazy. It feels very lazy to just bring them in and just drop them in, especially because we've seen the Council of Watchers so much, and they have been in the 80s comics like for a while. And then like we've only seen the Celestials from Eternals and Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. that is at the time the highest form of celestial power. Galactus is coming into F4, but he doesn't really power scale to them. So Beyonders would just be like a weird pull in my eyes. That's where I think they go
Yeah, but there's
even
no
more.
there really
where I
is no
think-
proper way to power scale these kinds of characters because they are essentially gods.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they're gonna. I think we might get like a Optimus Prime intro where it's like, before time there was the cube. Like I think Doomsday might start off with like, before everything there was the Beyonders, and they are God, and then we just go on from there. It's just weird. Like they can't drop them in an hour into the Doomsday because then it would just make no sense. Like they have to
Oh no,
go
no.
right off the bat with them,
They would
or
be
not do them
established
at all.
They would be established in the beginning of Doomsday. I don't see how you.
That's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
be able
If
to
they do them, it's like you get 3 full scenes to bring them in, or you don't do them at all. Because if you wait too long, it just makes no sense and it's lazy.
So, biggest thing from this that I think we could take away is that
Nobody
the
knows anything.
casting didn't really do anything for anybody because it kind
Aside
of,
from Tom Hiddleston, I think him and the X-Men is the only thing to take out of this, is that we're going to see them again.
yeah. And I think the biggest thing is just that with this casting, there is no like, oh, we
doesn't
kind
tell
of
us
can guess
anything.
where they're going with the story.
Yeah.
You still have no clue.
It tells us legitimately nothing. Like we know
Yeah.
more about the future of Young Avengers from Daredevil Born Again than we
Yeah.
do from anything else.
And we know the outcome of 2 of the movies that are leading up to Doomsday, Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, which are coming out in the next 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And it kind of got spoiled by this. My personal worry that I'm worried about right now is that they are focused on Doomsday and Secret Wars, which is good. However, what else is going on? There is literally nothing else for Phase 6. Thunderbolts ends Phase 5, and then you have Fantastic
Blade is
Four
done.
starting off Phase 6.
Blade is canceled. Like that's not happening.
Blade is not happening.
So we have Vision Quest. That's
You're
happening.
supposed to. You're
We're
supposed to have
getting
Vision Quest.
Spider-Man.
You're supposed to have Doctor Strange 3.
We're not getting Doctor Strange 3 at that point, at least. We're getting
No,
Spider-Verse
not
3,
at that
but
point. But
we're
there's
getting,
so many things that we're supposed to
Eyes
be
of
getting
Wakanda
after
show.
Secret Wars.
the Eyes of Wakanda show before that,
Wonder
and then
Man.
we're getting the Wonder Man show allegedly before that with
That's in December.
yeah,
and Marvel
Abdul
Zombies.
Mateen,
Whoop-de-doo.
the guy from who's Black Manta in the DCEU is Wonder Man.
Yeah.
So we're getting stuff, but not necessarily anything that
It's not-
matters.
it's
Like
not
people are
leaning to
upset that
anything.
the Defenders and John Bernthal and Charlie Cox weren't announced. Daredevil is gonna get his ass whooped by anybody in this movie if he shows up
Yeah.
in Doomsday. I am
Daredevil
like
needs to
the
stay
number
his own
one
thing.
Daredevil supporter. I love Daredevil. I love the Charlie Cox story. I've been researching the new Chip Zdarsky like omnibus, which is like 60 volumes long, and I want to buy it because the stories are so good. But like you can't put, they're just dudes. They're just dudes with street level powers. Like Spider-Man is the only guy who can go into both levels that they've introduced. He's gonna get whooped by anyone they bring in.
Yeah. I think my only thing that I say with it is that it's cool what you have, but the phases have continued to get bigger. Phase 2 is bigger than 1, 3 was bigger than 2. I don't know if I'd say 4 was bigger than 3, but it was enough. And
I would
5
say it
was
because it had all of the TV shows.
yeah,
So-
and 5 was bigger than 4. So now you kind of have to make 6 bigger than 5, or at least be somewhat in the same range. In this case, they only have
But my thing
4
is-
announced movies, and a few
If-
shows that have nothing to do with the main story.
If Secret Wars is truly, if they're truly doing it like the 2015 run, in the comics, you kill off 616 and Ultimate and all the other side stories at the same time. It's like Marvel Zombies. And you create one timeline at the time for the all new, all different run. I think this is their way of retconning every Fox, Elektra movie, Ben Affleck Daredevil, anything that's ever happened that wasn't main timeline MCU, and they all squeeze it into one and then kill it off, or not kill it off,
Well,
but
they,
soft reboot. So that way you
That's
redo
where Loki
X-Men,
comes
you
in.
can do Inhumans, but you can continue building on like the same Tom Holland Spider-Man, and you
Yeah.
can do stuff with the Defenders if you want. We
Oh,
get Shang-Chi
excuse me.
2, we get the next Doctor Strange movie, we get, like the next
You
Black
get more
Panther.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
You get an actual Venom that will hopefully
yeah,
be an
because
enemy of Spider-Man.
that's another thing. Everybody loves the black suit Spider-Man, but Mikey and I talked about it. The black
They
suit Spider-Man
can't.
serves zero purpose in the comics. It just shows up in the stupidest way possible, and then they were like, "Okay, we'll deal with this after Secret Wars."
yeah,
Like they find a
In
alien
a general
wishing well,
consent.
and Spider-Man is
But
like,
then
"I
again,
wish
I
for a
mean-
new suit," and then symbiote suit. That's how it happens.
yeah,
And
but
he
then
never
again,
appears in the
I
comics
mean,
again. For Secret
Black
Wars.
Suit Spider-Man doesn't really do much until that one like what 4-issue run, like the one story arc, the graphic novel that
Right.
he starts to
That's what I'm
get
saying,
really
like,
moody
in
and gets
Secret
rid
Wars,
of his.
he shows up,
his
get
symbiote.
black, and then does nothing. He just
And
disappears
then mind
from
you,
the
the
story.
symbiote doesn't do anything until Todd McFarlane comes around
Yeah.
and goes,
Let's turn this into a
"Here's my
guy.
idea." Right. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this is, hey, we're killing off everything that happens, right? We're even going to retcon certain of things that maybe fans don't like, maybe we don't like in the main.
I think it's going to
616
be
universe.
soft because you still need to build
Well, yeah,
young
yeah.
Avengers.
Well, again, I
and
mean, it's
the new
going to be
X-Men.
a soft reboot, but there is a way that they can actually erase things that they've done in the main 616 universe, or
Yeah.
whatever the hell they consider the MCU.
I see this as a good thing.
So,
But
I did too.
as Joey said earlier, this is all speculation.
But
The chairs, we genuinely could not actually give a thought of what's going to happen in these movies.
Yeah.
But kind of going to what Joey, you asked earlier about post Secret Wars, what villain, what big bads are we going to see? I would not be surprised if we see Null. We've heard them mention
That would be a good one because
Null is not
Venom
Null's story's
3
not over,
was supposed to tease him coming back.
and here we go. Now here's actually a villain who
Ooh,
is
yeah, you soft reboot,
This
merge them
whole
all
thing.
together, combine
Right.
Sonyverse.
Bring in
You
all that way.
bring Michael Keaton's Vulture back because he's
Yes.
in the Sonyverse right
True.
now.
True.
You can also further explain where
Scorpion.
Nowhere came from, right? The head of the Celestial,
Yeah,
so
that would make sense.
Venom,
if they
I
could
like
be.
that. I
Yeah.
like that.
I wouldn't be
I think that's what
surprised
they're
if
gonna
we're
do.
going for the
I
Null
think it's going to
route.
be a merger into a soft reboot.
Probably will be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Secret Wars has served both the 84, 85, and the 2015, 2016 runs. Both
Yeah.
serve as reboots.
Well, the
continu-
84 was more of like a setup for what's new,
Setup for
and
a
then
lot of random
the
garbage.
2015 was just a hard kill off.
Oh, it was a bunch of random garbage. I mean, hey, you even had the whole Magneto was a good guy post Secret Wars 85.
Well, because that was so they could go into the trial of Magneto, which is actually
yeah.
a really good story.
but it was just a bunch of random
But like,
stuff.
it's just it's just
Armor
them
Wars
writing this
stuff
story
was-
so that way they can set up other stuff, which is
It's
why
all
Secret
action
Wars is not great.
It's still action.
So, overall, what out of like 10 right now, what would you give your like excitement towards Doomsday?
It's the fact that everyone's comparing it to Infinity War and the fact that we had a build-up that hyped everybody up for that. This is just like
Secret
not that
Wars.
I'm not hyped because like I do like a lot of the new stuff that's coming out. It's just there's such a big veil of secrecy that it's like I will be hype 4 months before this comes out and we have
Right.
trailers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just living life.
I
Right
mean,
now, I don't care. I'd say it's.
I don't care
4 out of
because
10.
it's so far out in the future and we know
Yeah.
so little. Like, I just don't care. We knew what was going to happen in Infinity War for the most part. We knew Thanos, everybody's back together,
Yeah.
epic battles. We know nothing. So, like, I can't be hype about nothing.
So, I mean, but like, the 84, 85 run didn't have any build up. It was just, hey,
Right.
these own respective characters in their own respective storylines find this thing in Manhattan or in Central Park of New York City, and they get teleported to Battle World. Where did they go? Secret Wars. You have to read
Yeah.
Secret Wars, right? That was it, right? Each character had their own respective end of one issue to explain how they got there. The 2015 Secret Wars run had a little bit more of a build up. they had to
It had
build
some build
up
up
to the
because
incursion.
Doom was he was the big bad at the time, and they
Yeah.
also really wanted to kill off the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, I mean, they had to kind of set up what was happening during the incursion, but it still wasn't really that much to warn. Like, hey,
Right.
you have a million movies prior to this,
Right. Because
so
for those who don't know, by the time 2015 Secret Wars happened, there were two main legit like timeline storylines happening. There was the 616 and the Ultimate, and the Ultimate's where we get stuff like Miles Morales as Spider-Man. And so like they did the incursion, but if you just start with Secret Wars, panel 1, page 1 is the incursions happening, and it's like whoa, what's going on right now? Like they start at DEFCON 5 or whatever like the highest level is.
yeah, and I think my biggest issue with Secret Wars of 2015 was just it's like
It's meant for people who are already reading the comics. It's not meant for new people.
not even that though. It's like the only actual character that has really drastically changed is Reed Richards in the in Ultimate, right? It's he's called the Maker. He's actually a bad guy.
Yeah.
Everyone else is still good, you know. So like seeing the whole that incursion, it's like you have the Ultimate Iron Man like literally fighting and killing civilians and stuff in the 616 universe, and it's like so no one is like questioning, hey, how do we stop this incursion? They're just blindly following the literal villain. Like, we know this guy's a villain. They establish it in the beginning of the dang comic that he's a villain, and we're just blindly following him.
He's also like the smartest guy in the universe to them. So
We're still
they're all like,
blindly
let's get
following
on his
him.
spaceship.
Like,
He must know something.
it's not even spaceships. Kill these people. Kill them. Because that's supposed to magically save our world, even though we have two universes crashing into one another, right? The two worlds are literally crashing into each other. Killing people is not going to solve that.
If
I mean,
also saw a universe crashing into mine, and the smartest guy in my universe happened to be a super bad guy, I might still listen and see what he's doing. Because if he's getting on a spaceship, I'm getting on a spaceship.
I would, well, but no, they didn't know they were getting on a spaceship. That was revealed at the very end, like right before the incursion finally actually stopped. That's when it was like, all right, I'm leaving, guys, and everyone's like, wait, this bastard has a spaceship? He's gonna have us crash into each other. He literally tells them that the only way to save their worlds is to kill everyone on the other planet, and it's like,
Yeah.
I would think he's using that as a distraction for something else. Which is what he did.
Yeah.
That
which
was
is
my
why,
only frustration.
Obviously, Pedro Pascal is not going to become the Maker. So, like, there's just so much that they're going to change.
Pedro Pascal's going to be the Maker. They're going to bring John Krasinski back as the
Pedro
real
Pascal
Reed
is not
Richards.
going to have the stupid
That, or
helmet
it's going to be
that,
the
like,
other way around.
xenomorphs all the way back. They're not going to have him do that.
I didn't like the design of that. To be completely honest with you, I also
sure
don't like
there's
the
a reason
design of
for
that Charles.
You don't like the Fantastic Four. Anything you say
don't.
about them is just null to me.
Professor X, like that one that he's
What? How he can walk?
yeah, the iteration where
He's
he
got
can
the
walk, where he
it's
it's
Cerebro
the same thing
on his head.
Yeah, but the two characters I often got confused of because they look almost identical.
No, they don't. They just both have metal things on their heads, but they look
Hey,
completely
Joey,
different.
how we bring up these John? How we bring up these photos and post?
Yeah, sure.
We can compare these ones because like
Anyway,
they
You'll
look
have to send me
identical.
the photos, but yeah.
I think we should wrap this one up.
Any other final comments about Doomsday quickly?
No, I think the big thing was nobody knows what's going on. You can't
Yeah.
listen to anyone right now, including
But-
us.
As you say, don't listen to us. Don't take exactly what we're saying to heart. This is just three guys. That
It's
are
all
nerds
conjecture.
that are just trying to put dirt on a wall and see if it'll stick, which it probably won't. So with that, we're gonna move on to the game that we all know and love, Connections. Mikey and I had a duel out last episode where we both got them twice, and our first ever one connection. They're in the same movie kind of thing. And so we flipped the coin. Mikey won. So his first win, he will now be facing up against Brayden. And I've come up with something pretty interesting. You could go in two very different routes.
How do we get to Alan
One of
Tudyk?
them, one of them I think is very. One of them I think is a lot more difficult than you might think. But I'm excited to see where you guys go with this. So, your actors for today. Owen Wilson. You have to get from Owen Wilson to Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay, Joey. I'm not going to
Yeah.
cheat. I need you to look stuff up for me. I'm going to send you a picture, or I'm going to send you Snapchat stuff.
So, we are back.
Picture of the maker.
It has been a very long process. It has been about, I don't know, 15
I'd argue this is our hardest
minutes?
one.
This one might have been the hardest one. But I found a quick way, but I want to see where you guys are sitting. So, Brayden, go ahead and share what you have.
Okay, so Owen Wilson is in Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch with Timothée Chalamet, who is in Little Women with Florence Pugh, who is in We Live in Time with Andrew Garfield, who is in The Social Network with JT.
Correct?
So that's... how are we scoring this again? Okay, so French Dispatch,
We do movies. It should be actors.
French Dispatch, Little Women, We Live in Time, Social Network. So 4.
So 4 movies.
4 total.
Okay, so
4 total movies.
all right.
Mike?
So Justin Timberlake is with Russell Brand in Trolls, who is in Get Him to Grease
Poor
with
timing
Jonah
on
Hill.
that, but yes.
Huh?
Yep. Poor timing on the Russell Brand thing, but yeah.
Wait, what?
What happened?
He's
Is he being
been
accused of stuff?
sexual assault.
No,
Yeah,
that's
sexual assault.
unfortunate.
Didn't even
Not
think
Dr.
so.
Nefario.
So anyway, he's been in. So Russell Brand was with Jonah Hill in Get Him to Grease, who was in Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian with Owen Wilson.
Frick!
Correct. Now,
I swear to God, there was another movie because I was
What movie
going.
did you just pull? Wait, Jonah Hill and Russell Brand? What movie is that?
Get Him to Grease.
Get Him to Grease. So Jonah
heck
Hill.
is that?
So Russell Brand plays like this musician, and Jonah Hill.
When was
is
the last
trying
time
to-
you
he's a
watched
record
this
label-
movie? Because I've never heard of this movie before.
A year and a
Show
half
me your
ago, I
search
think.
history.
I mean, just literally.
Oh, you don't. What's in your search history, Michael?
I mean, which gun stuff? Be completely honest with you, but no,
Pulled
I
that up
mean,
really quickly. Had that handy.
no. So
This
I
was
watched
by
it
far
what
the
like a
hardest
year and a half
one we
ago.
did.
Diddy is in that movie, by the way. So was Lars Ulrich actually.
With Russell Brand? Interesting.
Diddy, Lars, Russell Crowe.
I don't know why we're lumping Lars into the Diddy group. He wouldn't
I'm
be
just
in
saying.
He's
I'm
not
just saying.
musically
Lars is
talented
also
enough.
in the film.
So,
He's
in
not
the
talented
end,
enough.
Mike has won for a second time. So look at him go.
Yeah, this is
I
gonna
came
last
up
long.
with 2. All right, ready? So my first one that I had, which I thought was going to beat you guys, but I don't think it did. Owen Wilson is in Wedding Crashers with Will Ferrell, who's in Megamind with J.K. Simmons, who's in The Accountant with Anna Kendrick, who's in Trolls with Justin Timberlake.
See,
Yeah,
my
I didn't
thing
wanna go
is,
the Anna Kendrick
I
route.
knew Trolls and Anna Kendrick, and I was trying to think because, like, okay, Anna Kendrick.
I was
what
afraid
movie-
of getting stuck
who
in
was it? It was
Pitch Perfect. I was afraid
Now-
of that route.
Anna Kendrick. Had it. It was Scott Pilgrim was my thing, but I couldn't think of anyone else who could
So-
get to Owen Wilson very fast.
It would be in 3 movies, so I would have tied Mike. But in this one, it would have been 2 movies, 1 actor, in which I accidentally said something, but no one picked it up, and I'm glad no one did. Owen Wilson is in Cars 3 with Armie Hammer, who plays the Winklevoss twins in The Social Network, in which Justin Timberlake is
You
in.
showed me a picture of that guy while we were figuring it out. I genuinely have no idea who that guy is by name or face. Like, if you shave
he
These
his
are the
is it-
Winklevoss twins. I knew who that
Yeah,
was.
but he's got
that was
a
it.
giant ginger beard in that picture.
He does
that
have a
showed
beard
us.
in the
so
photo
if you
that I
shave
had,
him,
yes.
I'll figure out who he is. But that
So I just thought it was funny because I literally said, Brayden, he's the Winklevoss twins, to which as soon as I said that, I go,
Okay, you lagged
I
out.
wasn't paying attention.
You lagged out, Joey, when you were showing
I
the
did?
picture. You froze with the picture up on screen of you
Alright.
holding your phone. So I
that's
just thought
good.
you were
That's good.
holding it. So we didn't hear that.
So yeah, Armie Hammer voices Jackson Storm and plays the Winklevoss twins, and that's the movie that they connect in.
Andrew's just
I
been
have not
so little
found a
non-Marvel.
movie. I have not found a movie at all that they are in at all together.
They're not in a movie together. I guarantee it.
I don't think they are. So yeah.
JT and Owen
Justin
Wilson.
Timberlake.
They're not in a movie.
I don't think they're in one. So yeah. Anyways, that is gonna do it all for us here on Stay Tuned. Mike is going to continue on his reign. He has 2 wins under his belt.
What's
see
your
where
current
that
record?
continues.
Brayden, what's your current record?
I think
4?
8. I think I've
No.
won every one except for the first one, and then these past 2.
No, because Joey had the longest running record.
Or Joey had it for 3, I think.
I think I had it for 3. You
And
had,
you had
it for the rest,
2.
and now it's
so
mine.
I have all the others.
So
Yeah,
this
but
is
at
episode,
one
like,
point, one of you guys
13.
lost and got
This is episode 12, so Mike
So
had
minus
2.
5.
That's
So
10.
I had like a
that's
se-
you
so I had
got
a
a
7.
7.
But we didn't
7-game
play
streak.
on one of them, so I have it 6
I don't think we
rounds.
played on-
6.
We haven't played on 2 of them.
No, we've played on all but Talking News.
No, there was another one that we didn't play because we filmed 2 episodes back to back.
That was
That
Talking
second
News.
episode.
That was talking.
No,
about-
and then we also didn't film because Brayden was having issues
Oh, that's right.
2 weeks ago.
So I'm on a 5 or 6 run, though.
Did
I
we
don't
do
know.
it on our first
Chat,
one?
what's the score?
Did we do it on our inaugural episode?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't think we did.
of course we did. I think that because Joey won. He started it off.
Yeah, but I
'Cause I think
that was on
I
the
gave
second
it.
episode.
Well,
That being
that's gonna
said,
do it all.
come at me.
I will, motherfucker. Okay.
I can tell where your man goes.